What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. We're gonna be doing some recap tonight, and also we're gonna be talking about a potential play for tomorrow. But the market is looking like it wants to fall tomorrow with all the setup, and I'm gonna go over that with you guys as well. So thank you guys for joining. My name is George. I'm an options trader, but also I'm a real estate investor. So with that said, I'm going to go into a couple things as far as what I talked about yesterday, but let's talk about what happened today as far as the market. With today, we had news that came out today, and unemployment every Thursday we have unemployment that comes out, and we also have news at 9:45 today, which the numbers came out both positive and negative. Okay, and then we of course have new home sales. I already know that new home sales was going to be down. Existing home sales was down yesterday, so that was expected as well. Now for tomorrow, there's nothing really happening tomorrow. I don't believe. Like, yeah, 8:30 we have some news coming out. It can shift the market a little bit, but not major like the red folders do. Right. So when I saw unemployment today at 217, I know that the market was gonna run up for at least a little bit, but not expecting that major pullback like we did later today, right? So with that said, let's go over to what I talked about yesterday. Yesterday, I talked about two potential plays that I gave you guys. I gave you guys Microsoft, um, and normally I just give one, right? But I talk about Microsoft to the upside, and I said, listen, Microsoft have a beautiful candle on it for the previous day, which was a hammer, and a break above the high. We'll go to what, 510. 510 was my target, right? 510 was my target. Now I don't trade gaps, and I tell you guys this: if it gaps up, I'm not trading it. And it did gap up, and then it went to my target, which is 510. I did not trade it because I don't play gap ups. Okay. Now for the people who wanted to trade it, hey, that was a potential right there. It did pull back, but I wasn't paying attention to it as much in the beginning. We did have a pullback on it right here. So once it opened up, we had that pullback. We had an inside bar, little right there. I mean, it played around. The whole market kind of played around in the beginning and then pushed up, because that happened to us with Apple, where I find myself in that same sideways movement like it did a couple days ago, right? So that was Microsoft. I also talked about Coin, and Coin did exactly what I talked about as well for Coin. Coin popped up. I don't trade gaps, like I said, so I wasn't even gonna pay attention to it. But the thing with Coin popped up and then it came right down. But the first target that I talked about was on Coin was the gap. Okay. For some people who don't know what a gap is or don't know how to recognize gap, you have to look at where gaps are and where gap needs to be filled, right? So I saw that Coin gap down on the day yesterday, but it created a hammer. So I know that if we break, which I'd said, guys, if we break, our first target is going to be the close of gap, right? And it went right to close of gap and then rejected close of gap, and then we came straight back down. So the crazy thing now is that with Coin going to all-time highs at, if you look at this, guys, it went right to almost 450, right? It doesn't have to go. This is what I talk about a lot of times. It doesn't have to go to 450, but there's people that's going to sell off before it get to 450. They might not wait for 450. They want to take their profit because they know a huge sell-off can happen. So right here at 444.66, that was the high. Then it came right down. That's a $40 drop in couple days, right? In one, two, three, 4 days. You're talking about a $50 drop in 4 days on Coin, right? But the thing is, with Coin still had some type of upside. Why Coin still have an upside is because the gap, right? So we know that we have a gap to fill to the upside. So that means that we had to go up there potentially. Now there's no gaps to be filled on the upside, none at all. And right now we're looking on a bearish divergence to the upside. Now, coin hit all-time highs. If Bitcoin keeps running, right, then we're gonna see that. But one thing you have to pay attention to, guys, when things hit all-time highs, we're gonna have some type of pullback because the market don't go straight up, right? And with crypto, with some of the coins coming back down, especially if Bitcoin is pulling back down, you're gonna see this pull back down. But also, we just created all-time high. Was it all-time high? Just to make sure. Yeah, we just created all-time highs, right? You have to pay attention to right here. All-time high on coin at the time was all the way over here when it first came out. And when it first came out, it went to 429.54 and then rejected right there. Okay. So now you're talking about from 2001 to 2005, there's people, guys, that bought at 429 and been waiting for 4 damn years before they could break even. What do you think is going to happen when people see their accounts that was down like almost 90%, right? Almost 90%. Their accounts was down almost 90%. At one point they were talking about coin, right, filing for bankruptcy when they first came out. So coin went all the way down to 30 something dollars, right? So you're talking about people that was scared shitless that they're about to lose all their money. They probably put, you know, 50 grand, 40 grand, 10 grand, 5 grand, whatever it is. They put money all the way up there to see that lose 90% of the value, right? Some people might be pissed as shit because guess what? They sold all the way down here. They were like, yo, they filed for bank. They're going to go bankrupt or whatnot. They sold down here. And look, we're now back at all-time highs, right? So the people that held, that bought all the way up here is gonna sell when it come right here. Those inexperienced investors are those retail traders, are retail investors that say, listen, you know what? I don't want to do it. Like it put a bad taste in their mouth. So that's gonna happen. So expect some type of sell-off to happen right here. Now, I mentioned this in a video a couple weeks ago. Coin will be $1,000 stock. No doubt about it. Coin is going to be one of those that is probably going to split a couple years from now, go to $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 and split. Okay. So accumulating coin, instead of people talking about, oh, all the raise about Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin, you could buy Bitcoin, right? You could buy Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is always something good to hold on to or have, right? And if it goes to $1 million, you're gonna what, 10x your money, 9x your money, right? With coin, if you look at it the same way, you could buy coin. Coin will most likely go to 1,000, split, and then continue to go up because after a while, what these companies do is they split after a while because a lot of people might find it too expensive to buy. Just like in probably a couple of months, probably by this year or next year, you're gonna hear Netflix talking about some way of splitting their stock up so more people could feel like they can afford it. Okay, so you're gonna have that same kind of thing going for these coin for coin in the future, where coin is probably gonna go up to 1,000, 1,500 or whatnot, and then they split. If you look at the market cap is nowhere near $1 trillion, and this is gonna be something that you're talking about financial sector. You're going to talk about one of the biggest companies that deals with crypto. Everybody, BlackRock, all the banks are using Coinbase for the most part for their transactions, are partnering with Coinbase. So this is going to be something major in the future. Not financial advice, by the way, but just to bring that short or make that short. But what I'm seeing right now on coin is we're seeing a bearish divergence to the downside on coin. Now, this bearish divergence kind of played out a little bit in a sense, right? Because we had a pullback and we had a $60 pullback. We're still above VWAP, so we could bounce off VWAP and continue back up. That's possible, okay? That's not far from it because we could still continue up. We're at all-time highs. We have a lot more time left in the year, okay? So with that said, we have a bearish divergence right now. We have higher highs right here, and then you have lower highs right here, okay, on the indicator. So that shows you have a bearish divergence. We're starting to come down. we might pull back a little bit and then continue back up. Okay, no big deal on that. What we're doing right now is we're looking for opportunities on a daily basis. So I called coin out yesterday. Coin gapped up, hit where it's supposed to hit, and then come back down. I don't trade gaps, so I wasn't gonna take that trade. Now, with that said, the trades that I took today was Apple. Apple was one of the trades that I took today, and the reason why I took Apple to the upside, I waited on Apple um, for a little bit, but what happened with Apple was this, right? Apple broke to the upside on the day, and it basically hit target, almost hit target. So it broke the high, and once it broke the high, I was ready to go in. But what I did was we was like, all right, let's wait a little bit before we get into this trade. And we waited a little bit, but afterwards we got in. Okay. We got into the trade when it popped down. Let's go to the 5 minute. When it popped down, we got in right here. We got in right here on the break of this 5 minute candle because we saw the reversal on the 5 minute candle. So we're saying, all right, we're going to take it to the upside and possibly take our profit here and a continuation. And what it did, it came down. But because we saw that it's hitting on the 200 on the 5 minute and it was hitting on the 200 on the 15 minute and held support, I kept it, right? So I kept it because I'm like, we're holding support right here, and we got chopped up for a little bit, but once we break above again, we got our profit. Once we push up here, we got our profit, and we got out the trade with over 30% profit on that trade. Okay, so that was a profitable trade, a great trade. Regardless, we got out of that trade. Now, um, with the next trade, we got in Adobe. Okay, and with Adobe, I saw the push up as far as the break to the upside. um, so we broke right here. So we broke day high right here, and we got in the trade, and we took profit on Adobe. So we did trades on Adobe, and we took profit on Adobe, 30% on those as well. So both trades were profitable today. Also, there's a couple trades that I did look at as far as I'm not gonna say that one because we're still. I'm not sure if the VIP people in the VIP took it, so I don't really want to call it out because that I call that out in VIP. I'm still in that trade, so I'm not gonna say what trade it is until tomorrow. As far as what it is, so that and it still has an opportunity to go up. So I won't call that one out or say what it is until tomorrow. Now, what we did talk about as well is BAC. I did take my final profit on BAC today, over 117% or something like that. Total profit on BAC, Bank of America. Total profit on Bank of America was over 200%. Okay. Now, why did I take this trade? I gave this trade out this week. Okay. And I said, this is a beautiful candle on the weekly. We had a hammer on the weekly, and we just needed to break above that. Now, we gapped up on the week and came down. And once we came down, then I took it right here. So with that, we went up. I had took some at 46, took some at 80. We pulled back down, and then I took the rest of that at 207%. So great trade. This trade to me is done. If it continue up, God bless its soul, right? But the trade to me is done because it hit target. The first target for me was right at the first target for me was right here at the body. I always go to the body before I go to the top of the candle. And the reason why is with bodies of the candles, guys, you have to remember the bodies are where price respect. Okay. Price ended at that level, and it opened at that level. So we're gonna have some type of support and resistance at that level. Now, when you're talking about Forex, I'll say 90% of the time will respect the body before it goes to the wick for targets. So that's why you always want to make sure that you're having your body as a target, because the bodies will act as resistance and support a lot of times as well. Okay, so that trade was great. And JP Morgan ran as well. So we did talk about JP Morgan, and JP Morgan went all the way up, close to the target, right? It went to 299.59. The target, again, it already did what it was supposed to do, but the psych level is 300. So once it hit there, guys, you have to realize that once we get to certain psych level, it's all-time highs. You're gonna have some type of pullback, and all of these right now are showing beautiful, beautiful candles to the downside. So that's why I'm like, tomorrow we might see a situation where we have pullbacks on all type of levels. Just pick something and short it. No, 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 not financial advice. But a lot of these, a lot of these have reversal candles to the downside, which I'm loving right now. Okay. Uh, so guys, I do this as far as, if you like what you're hearing so far, as far as the information I'm giving out, please go ahead, like, and subscribe to the channels. As far as YouTube, I have my Discord that, we do, and I give out free information in my Discord. I also have a live call out. This is the trades that we took today. People post profits as far as in, our Discord, so you could see people taking profits in our Discord. Like I said, with Apple was 30%. You have Adobe, which was 30%, and then you have right here where I posted BAC 200% on those, 234%. So those are the trades that I was talking about. Now, with the potential as far as tomorrow, I was gonna say, man, even JP Morgan, to be honest, looks like an amazing trade. Um, I wasn't even gonna look at I wasn't even gonna look at this, but this looked like an amazing opportunity as far as tomorrow. Tomorrow to the downside, just looking at JP Morgan, a break below this right here. Now, I don't like gap downs, and I'm hoping that what we can see is market open tomorrow. And with market open tomorrow, we have some kind of push to the upside, but closer to around like 9:45, 10:40, 9:45 or 10 o'clock, we have the break of this right here. So I would like to see it go up to the body, because that's where price opened up at. Okay, so I'd like to see price go up to the body, reject off the body, the top of the body, and then come back down. Let me see if I could zoom this in so you could see better. So I would like for price to come up to the body, the top of the body of the candle, reject right here, come down, break this low. And at that point, my targets are going to be right here. Price respected this right here. So we might see some type of support level right in this area right here. Okay, because price respected that level, but let me get rid of this. Oh, where did it go? My bad. So price respected this level. We had where price came and rejected off that level twice the same day. Okay. So expect something to happen right here where we come down, and we might bounce off this level and just continue in this area and die out for tomorrow. Or we could have a hard fall tomorrow. Okay. We could have a hard fall tomorrow. At that point, that will be the target at 292.84, followed by the bottom at 292.55. And then we have a gap to close, right? That we gapped up. So we have a gap to close right here, and that gap need to close. Now, can that gap close tomorrow? It can close tomorrow. It might not close tomorrow. Okay. So those are targets that you could look at as far as for for JP Morgan. But what I was looking at is I don't want to give, but here we go. Apple. All right. So we make money both sides of the market. We make money when the market goes up, and we make we make money when the market goes down. We don't care what direction the market is going in. We see opportunities, we take opportunities. Okay. So right now, where Apple is sitting at a major level. Okay. Right here, Apple Apple came to a spot right here, okay? Which it came right here and then reject off this line. We come right here again, and now we're rejecting off of it again. Okay. So we have to pay attention to that level right there. Okay. We have to pay attention to that level right there. So we're having a divergence to the downside. Okay. But Apple is bullish on the monthly. Okay. So don't get it twisted. Apple is bullish on the monthly. Apple needs to go up to 120 on the monthly. Okay. Now, this doesn't have to happen this month. This can happen next month. Okay. But that's the target on the monthly. Why? Because we had a consolidation for 2 months, and then we have this push. Once we break here, the first target was here, which we hit. We hit the first target right here, but ultimately we have targets right here at 220, and then right here at 225. Those are the targets on the monthly. So we might not hit it this month. We can hit it this month because we have a whole week left. We have next week left as well. So we can hit it next week. It might not happen next week. We might have a situation where this monthly candle go up a little bit more, and then next month we consult, we pull back and then continue up. The market does not go straight up. Okay. But what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a rejection off of VWAP. Okay. So on the monthly, we're bullish. On the 3 month, all right, we're still an inside bar on the 3 month. If we break this right here, as far as 25, we are going back to all-time highs on Apple. Okay. Just bear that in mind. If we break right here, at 25, we're going to go back up to all-time highs for Apple at 250, followed by 260. Okay. So just bear that in mind. Um, with that said, for tomorrow on Apple, I am bearish. Okay. I am bearish on Apple tomorrow. So with Apple, I'm looking for a reversal on Apple to the downside as far as Apple tomorrow. So I'm looking for a break of right here. And if we break, it all depends. Okay. If price has been consolidating a lot, so if anything, I'll say wait. The best time to trade on Fridays is probably at 10 o'clock. You normally see a big move happen at 9, between 9 and 9:15. Okay. Between 9:30, between 9:30 and 9:45, you'll see a big move happen on a 15-minute candle. The next 15-minute candle will come in and it will consolidate for that time, and then you'll see a push in either direction again with a continuation or a reverse back to the upside. What you have to make sure is I would like for Apple to open above right here and do the same thing. We come up first, and possibly what I would love to see is a rejection off the 50% retracement line for this candle right here. So that will be for Apple, that would be right around 214.50. Okay. So for it to go up to around 214.50 and then afterwards reject from 214.50, come back down and break right here. If it come back down and break, then my first target on Apple is going to be 214.41. Okay. That's going to be my first target, followed by down to VWAP right down here. And then remember right here, we have some gaps to fill to the downside. Okay, so we have a gap right here that needs to be filled right here. Okay, so those are the levels as far as for tomorrow for Apple. There's a lot of opportunities that I'm looking at right now, and a lot of these charts are pointing to the downside, um, especially what I'm looking at as far as for all these stocks. So expect some type of pullback tomorrow, but you can have fake outs, so they can pull it down first and then push it back up. So you just have to make sure that you're taking profit, especially when you're trading options. Do not be greedy when you're trading options, guys. And I'm going to repeat this again. Do not be greedy. If you're up 20, 30%, make sure you're scaling out your contracts. If you're trading same day contracts tomorrow, especially on stocks, Google, Apple, all those stuff. If you're trading Apple, do not go out to three strike prices, you will lose your money. Going out three strike prices on Apple, you will lose your money. A pullback and it will kill you. You want to make sure that you stay to Apple, with Apple as close as the money as possible. If you don't have that money, trade something else. Look at SPY, look at QQQ, look at something else. Oh, another one that we traded, I just remember about this as well, that we talked about, was Riot. And Riot did what Riot was supposed to do. Okay, so Riot did what it was supposed to do as far as for profit wise. We did over 100% on Riot as well. So Riot was a great trade as well. Was it over 100%? I think it was like, no, it wasn't over 100%. It wasn't over 100%. I think it was like 40% on Riot. But this was a great trade as well. So with that said, guys, make sure you're trading safe. Again, if you find the information valuable, go ahead, give me a like. Also, just put the comments down. Let YouTube know that you're finding the information that I give you valuable. Again, this is not financial advice, so make sure when you're doing your trades, make sure that you do your due diligence. Make sure that if you hear something I say, go over it. Make sure that everything lines up with your trading plan. And once you have your trading plan, stick to it and just execute whenever you have your alerts come up. All right, guys. So with that said, hope you have a great night and a safe trading day tomorrow. All right, guys. Have a great night.